Welcome to Ideagen TV, live from the Embassy of Ethiopia in Washington, D.C. Today we are thrilled. To have with us Samson Arega, Regional Director, Sales, Marketing, and Services for Ethiopian Airlines. Samson, welcome.
Thank you so much, George.
And you are holding here to open up this interview. What type of plane is this?
So this is the famous 787 Dreamliner. And Ethiopian Airlines was the second client to receive these planes once they came out. So next to Japan Airlines, we are the second in the entire world to receive this beautiful plane.
And it's a beautiful plane.
Yes.
It's a beautiful plane, and it's a perfect segue. It really is a perfect segue to our conversation today about Ethiopian Airlines and the work that you're doing. Could you tell us briefly about what you do at Ethiopian Airlines and some of your incredible plans for 2023?
Interesting. Thanks, George, for having me. So I oversee the entire airlines operation here in North America, including Central America and the Caribbean. It's an operation worth over $500 million, between $500 million and $600 million operation. So as we know, Ethiopian Airlines is an aviation powerhouse. It's an aviation powerhouse. It's a huge aviation group, and one of the biggest aviation group in the continent of Africa, with 8 strategic business units. And here in North America, or here specifically here in the US, we do have over 32 flights per week. We cover both East and Midwest cities or states. We have 10 flights departing from Washington, Dallas, and daily flights from New Jersey and New York, and daily flights from Chicago. And Atlanta is joining our ever-growing network next month. And we have also a huge cargo operation out of Miami. So our strategic expansion. So we know that the company can grow here in the US, exponentially. So we have plans. Of course, Atlanta is one of those, and we have plans to also add 2 cities every year for the next 5 years. Yeah.
2 years. And so, how does Ethiopian Airlines represent and support the greater community of Ethiopia?
So, as you know, that we always say that Ethiopian Airlines is bringing Little Ethiopia every day to the United States, to various parts of the US. So 10 flights out of here at Dallas, and per annum we carry between 500 to 600,000 passengers, and overall 12.7 million passengers per annum on average. Wow. So, and you can imagine, the community, especially in DMV area, there is a huge Ethiopian community, and there are so many Ethiopian businesses, small businesses owned by and run by Ethiopians. And Ethiopian Airlines feeling that logistics gap, especially in providing supplies, trade items, even food items, national food items, apart from obviously linking families and Ethiopians who are residing here in the US. So it's really adding. Apart from that, of course, we fly to over 89 countries, close to 9 countries, and it's a brand ambassador for Ethiopia as well. So it's a flagship or a flag carrier of Ethiopia and a brand ambassador. So it resembles, not only Ethiopia, actually, the entire Africa. So it's a fine example of the continent of Africa.
That's right. It sure is. And so as we've emerged from COVID, the entire planet, for the first time in human history, experienced the same thing at the same exact time. How was Ethiopian Airlines impacted, and how, Samson, did you adapt to these changes?
So, George, it's very interesting, actually, talking about the situation during COVID and how we really took advantage of the opportunities that COVID brought. So, and of course, actually, it's worth mentioning that Ethiopian Airlines was one of those 3 airlines in the whole world to turn profit during COVID times. So we took an advantage, and we actually have been known, to translate challenges into opportunities. So during COVID, we have a diversified aviation model. So we have a strong cargo wing, and we have the 5-star hotel. We have a huge MRO facility one of the biggest in the continent of Africa. We have a huge aviation academy. So we strategize to capitalize on our diversification or on our diversified aviation model. So we changed 25 passenger planes, 777 passenger planes, to cargo to fill the gap which was created because of COVID challenge. So, and we used our network. So we have an extensive network based on the countries that we do serve globally. We are the fourth biggest airline in the whole world. So we used that network. We used our personnel. So we have a dedicated 17,000 employees.
17,000
employees. So it's a huge, and in fact, every one of us took this as a national mission. So we have a committed, dedicated employees, our network, and our fleet. So we have 140 planes, and we previously, before COVID, we had these 10 777 dedicated freighters. We added 25 passenger planes,
Wow.
changed it to cargo,
Sure.
and we were in fact, some of those few airlines at the heightest of or at the peakest of COVID that changed, passenger planes to cargo, and we were
Incredible.
flying everywhere. In fact, we never fired a single staff during COVID. So I was in Canada during the time. I was a country manager in Canada. So while everybody was firing, especially the big airlines like Air Canada, United, we were hiring. I was hiring.
Incredible.
Yeah, so it was, we took that advantage. We operated 360 charter cargo planes,
Wow.
delivered, PPEs, urgently needed medical equipments to 80 countries. And we operated 470 passenger charter flights, repatriated over 65,000 people or citizens of this world. And, we took an opportunity, we took an advantage of the challenge that COVID brought, and we turned profits.
Incredible. And so how does Ethiopian Airlines utilize technology? You've talked a little bit about it here, but how do you utilize technology, Samson, to improve customer service and sales?
So I would tell you about the 5 pillars that we have. So we have 5 pillars: fleets for an airline, especially for people working in the aviation industry or the commercial aviation industry. Fleet is very important because that will obviously determine the routes, the market expansion strategies that a company follows. So fleet is one. HRD, human resource development, infrastructure, system, and sustainability. So previously we used to have 4 pillars, but now because of the climate issue, we have also incorporated sustainability as part of our pillars for visioning, or these pillars are anchoring our strategic visioning. So system is one of those pillars, and through extensive the beauty of the airline industry is, the airline industry that are operating here in the Western or in the developed world, we use basically similar type of systems.
Sure.
So it's imperative for us that we need to acquire those systems to keep ourselves, first afloat in the industry, to keep ourselves, running in the system. So we acquire, advanced system from various companies that are, developed here in the US as well as Europe, and we also develop in-house systems so that we can keep up with the ever-growing, market demands and the dynamism of the market too.
You know what, Samson, that is just phenomenal to hear. And so how do you identify new business opportunities, new potential customers? How do you begin to find these opportunities and customers?
That's a very interesting question, George. So we have a market research department. So basically what we see is 3 main factors. So one, we study the market, obviously. 2, we determine if that new opportunity would really solve the pain point of our clients. Mm-hmm. And third, will this new or additional opportunity or market would really improve our existing product lines? So we have a robust market study. We study our market. We have tools, market intelligence tools, to perform those studies. And after that, we do conduct a field analysis. We will send some of our personnel to assess the market, to assess the customer segments, the available customer segments that we can serve through our network. And that really results, then we will determine if that new product that we'll be adding into our network would really solve the clients.
Right.
Easiness of accessibility, like say for example, to fly from West Coast to the continent of Africa, it might be very difficult, right? So if we aim to link that particular city or add that particular city into our existing network, we will analyze other airlines flying from that point to the continent of Africa or any other points that we do fly in our network, and we will see if that really improves the product quality for the clients and our existing, if also it can elevate the existing product line.
Sure.
Like we do fly to 62 cities in the
Incredible.
continent of Africa, and that is actually more than the countries itself, right? There are 54 countries in Africa.
Right.
Meaning, we do fly to various cities in one country. Say,
Incredible.
for example, Johannesburg.
Sure.
If you take South Africa, we do fly to Johannesburg and Cape Town. If you go to Nigeria, we do fly to Lagos, Abuja, Enugu. So, various cities in one country. So that is a massive network.
Massive.
No, actually, by far, the second largest airline in Africa is not even half the size of Ethiopian Airlines. So we are by far the biggest. And we will also assume that the new product opportunity that we will be finding would really improve our existing product lines.
Right.
So those are the things that we do.
So you're doing the research, you're using data,
Yes.
you're analyzing, you're trying to figure out based on that data and that analysis, does it make sense? Does it add value to the customer and to the overall structure of where you fly?
Exactly.
I love it. And so how do you build, Samson, and maintain these critical relationships with key stakeholders such as travel agents and corporate clients? How do you maintain those relationships?
You know that especially in marketing or in any business, so to speak, relationship is very important. And we do really invest quite amount of time and energy and resources to build relationships with our corporate clients. So we have various segments of the market that we do serve. And first is identification of key stakeholders in those particular or in those segmented line of business or market segments. So after identification, we would really study the business model that these companies or stakeholders really have, so that we can know or we can study what kind of deliverables or what kind of provisions that the company can really offer to that specific market segment.
Sure.
Or if it is a corporate client, say for example, take World Bank.
Yeah.
World Bank is one of our biggest clients here. So we will study what World Bank really needs. So what is the pattern of their needs, their travel needs, right? Are they more concerned about cost, or are they really concerned about services, right? So we have a dedicated, like for example, as far as World Bank and all those big corporate clients are concerned, we have a dedicated line, a dedicated sales representative who they reach out to anytime and any day, so that to get their assistance. So
Incredible.
Identification and studying their business model, so that we can really adjust ourselves to provide the level of service or the level of deliverables that they require from us. Then we will foster open discussion, honest discussion, and expectation. We will also tell them the expectations that we have from them and the tools that we have to support their business model.
That is just incredible.
Yeah.
And I think it's all about customer excellence.
Yes.
Looking at that, customer satisfaction based on data, based on and every customer, whether it's a corporate or an individual, deserves the same level of service. They may have different needs.
Exactly.
But you have to meet them where they are.
Exactly.
To achieve that goal.
Exactly.
What is your final call to action? What is your call to action for the millions of people that are watching this interview on Ideagen TV?
So I would say, I think it's a cultural thing in Ethiopia. So Ethiopian Airlines, if you take Ethiopian Airlines, if you see the history of the airline, it's a handful of those companies with a 77 corporate history in the industry. And we were talking, offline, that it's a state-owned, government-owned, and very successful. We have been growing double digit for the past 15 years.
Wow.
In the airline industry, you don't really see those kinds of, growth, like steady growth for 10, 15 years with obviously, strategic visioning. So we disproved that, the notion that, state-owned companies are failures, especially in the continent of Africa. And we also disproved that if Africans can't really work, and they can't lead corporation like that of Ethiopian Airlines, which has grown to be the biggest aviation, powerhouse in the continent of Africa, with 5 billion annual turnover, that was over $25 billion, and continue to expand and grow and create opportunities. And even here in the US. So Boeing, we are one of the biggest clients of Boeing. So I always want to quantify things. So the other time I was having this kind of conversation. So I told them that we have created over 200,000 jobs for US citizens, because the equipments that we buy from Boeing, they worth billions of dollars.
Right.
And that translates into, the US economy, right?
Jobs.
So we can jobs, GDP.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win approach, right? It's a win-win situation. So I would say, we have to, of course, speak loud for various segments of the population. And apart from that, Africa can offer, significant amount of opportunity for US companies and other peoples here in the developed nations. So I would invite every one of you watching us today to come to Ethiopia and see, the opportunities that we can provide, and the tourism sector as well, and in the continent as well, the continent of Africa. So I invite them to come and use Ethiopian Airlines, of course.
Ethiopian Airlines. Samson Arega, Regional Director, Ethiopian Airlines. Thank you. Thank you for all you're doing to change the world and create incredible impact at Ethiopian Airlines.
Thank you.